All right, today we are starting Unit 7. Yes, Unit 7. And we are going to solve quadratics. So what we were doing before is we would multiply to get a quadratic, or we would take a quadratic and factor it to get the two groups. So today we are just looking at the quadratic and we are solving it. We are finding a solution set. So what this is the number of answers of a quadratic equation. So we can have 1, 2, or no solutions. So today we're going to be looking at graphs to get these answers. And we'll look at where our quadratic, where that curve crosses the x-axis. So this is where the line crosses the x-axis. So we have some examples of what a graph could look like. So on example 1, I can see here is my x-axis. Your x-axis will always be side to side. And here is my curve. And if we look, we can see that the curve touches one time. So since it touches one time, this will have one solution. And if you look, you can see here is 1, here is 2. Our dot's in the middle. So this point is 1.5, 0. And that would be the answer. If we look at number 2, again, my x-axis goes side to side, and our line is the curve. So here is that curve. And if we look, we can see it crosses 1, 2 times. So that green curve crosses the x-axis 2 times. So that means we will have 2 solutions. And those 2 solutions, this one here, I can see -1, -2. So this is at -2, 0. And this point is at, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 0. So that would be our answer, -2, 0, and 3, 0. And then if we look at this last one, here is my x-axis, and here is my curve. And if we look, these two do not touch. You can see there's a space between them. So since there is no touch, that means there are no solutions. So you can put no solution, you could put none. Either one of those will work for your answer. So sometimes you will not get the graph. Sometimes it will give you the equation. So we're going to use our calculator to help us find those solutions. So standard form of a quadratic, this is what we want every time. This is where we have to start. This is when we have ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. This is what we looked at last week when we were factoring, or 2 weeks ago. So we had our a, b, c, we would find the parts. Today, we just want to make sure it says ax squared plus bx plus c. And then it needs to equal 0 or equal y. Then we'll take this and put it in our calculator. So let's take a look at this first example here. It says, using your graphing calculator, find the solutions, so find the answers to the equation below. So if we look, we want ax squared plus bx plus c. So here I have x squared minus x minus 6. This one is in standard form. So I'm going to start by putting this in my calculator. So in my calculator, first I need y1 and y2. So I'm going to press y equals on my calculator to get y1 and y2. And then I'm going to type my equation into y1. So x squared minus x minus 6. And then in y2, every time we want 0. So now if I click graph, I will see my x-axis is in red and my curve is in blue. So when I look here, I can see the blue line or the curve crosses 2 times. So I'm going to add in here that I need to click graph. And then I'm going to make a note that we have 2 solutions. So to find these 2 solutions, we're going to follow these steps right here. So I'm going to press second trace. Then I want number 5. Then I'm going to press enter 3 times. So enter, enter, enter. And when I do that, it gives me 2 numbers here. So it says x is -2, y is 0. So that means one of my answers will be -2, 0. But we have 2 solutions. So if you have 2 solutions, do it all over again. And that just means this step right here, do again. So I'm going to press second trace 5. But this time I want this little dot to be on the other side. So I'm going to click over. You can hold it and it'll just run over. And when it's on the other side, now I can press enter, enter, enter. And you can see I have a new number for x. So now it says x equals 3, y equals 0. So my second answer will be 3, 0. And that's all. All right, we'll do 2 more together and then you can try the practice. So again, we want to make sure that these start out as ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. If I look at number 3, I've got x squared plus 5x equals 6. Uh-oh, this is not in standard form. So I need to move this 6 to the other side. So to do that, since this is positive, I want to use -6. -6. So now I will have x squared plus 5x minus 6 equals 0. So now it is in standard form. And I can go back to my calculator and I'm going to do those same steps again from before. Y equals, in y1, I want my equation. So I'll type in x squared plus 5x minus 6. In y2, I still have 0, and then I can press graph. So I look, again, I'm going to have 1, 2 solutions. So I'm going to make a note here that I need 2 solutions. So to get 1, we press second trace, there we go, 5, and then enter, enter, enter. So here I have one side, which is at x1, y0. So one answer is 1, 0. And then I need my second solution. So I'm going to do second trace 5. But this time I need to move it over to the other side. There it is. So now it's on the other side. And I can press enter, 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 and get answer number 2. Here it's x equals 6, y equals 0. So answer number 2 will be 6, -6, 0. It's kind of hard to see. If I make this bigger here, you can see that -6, y is 0. And those 2 points where it crosses. And these are our answers. All right, one more example. This time we have 2x squared plus 3x plus 1 equals 0. That is in standard form. This is good. So here we had to move that 6 because it was not in standard form. We had to get it to have the plus c. But number 4 is already, this is good to go. So in my calculator, I can press y equals, and in y1, I can type in 2x squared, what was it, plus 3x plus 1, plus 3x plus 1, y2 says 0, so when I press graph, here my blue line and the red line only touch one time. So that means I will just have one solution. So I'm going to make my note here that I have one solution. So all I have to do is second trace 5, enter, 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 and here is my one solution. X equals -0.5, y equals 0. So I'll put -0.5, 0. And that is my one answer. All right, if you have questions, please let me or Miss B know, and you can go ahead and try the practice.